Red Wings Live. It's presented by Arby's. For the team from the town that knows all about songs with sadness, this is material found right after your mom getting out of prison and hit by a pickup truck. In Nashville's history, they are owned here by the Wings. In games at Joe Louis Arena, the Wings are 25-4-5 all time versus the Preds, with a couple of ties from back in the day. And on Dollar Hot Dog Night, or as we like to call it, Larry Murphy's personal heaven, let's be, well, frank. The Wings need a win to snap a little stretch of ugly. We're a half hour from game time here on Fox Sports Detroit Plus. Hey, it's hockey weather in Hockey Town. People wearing coats on their way into the building. Welcome to Red Wings Live. Welcome to Joe Louis Arena. I'm John Keating. They've been overtimed and overtired, and after two straight losses, the odds of the Wings bouncing back with a little more juice tonight are higher than Willie Nelson. After a day off on Tuesday, they're energized, at least to some degree, by a game back within their division. You can throw a blanket over each division in the West, and actually, the 7 points which separate Detroit and Nashville is the largest top-to-bottom disparity in the West. In the East, for example, Pittsburgh's lead in their division is already a bloated 25 points over the Islanders. The Wings are first overall in the West, but winning their division is job one, and a tricky task it is.
Tough division we're in, and all the teams are good, and especially they're important games that are divisional games, so we know it's going to be an important game for us tonight.
Bottom line is it appears that everybody is very competitive in our division, and so the games are going to be tough to win. We knew that going in. What it appears to me is that if you're not playing your best, you have a chance to get on a long, ugly run, so you better be playing your best.
For Mike Babcock, Chris Draper is back in his first home game of the year. Drew Miller is out. The Nashville Predators are one of those teams that always hangs around. They've already played 10 overtime games this year, so settle in. But in 4-on-4, they have yet to win. They're 0-4 in that regard, 4-2 in shootouts, but they'll be helped by the return of one body, one native Detroit body tonight. And with more on that story, the voice of the Wings, Ken Daniels, joins us. Kenny.
Thank you, John. Yes, it's David Legwan from Grosse Pointe Woods, and he's coming back in after missing 9, they say, with a lower body injury. Some think it was a shoulder injury, in fact. However, he's become basically a shutdown center. And that's what it's come down to. Just 5 years ago, he had a personal best 27 goals and 63 points. He got a 6-year, $27 million deal right after that. But in the 3 years since getting 63 points, 44 has been his best. You think about that draft year when he was taken. Vinny Lecavalier went first overall, David Legwan second, and Brad Stewart of the Red Wings went third. The only other significant picks really in that draft, Brad Richards in the 3rd round, Brian Giant in the 3rd round, and Pavel Datsyuk in the 6th round. I guess my point is, Vinny Lecavalier and David Legwan were picked 1-2 in that draft. Both are struggling scoring. David Legwan's become a good shutdown center. That's terrific, but they really expected more points from him than they're getting. Now he's just got to stay healthy.
All right, as much as it pains us to do it, let's talk a little Sidney Crosby. With Steven Stamkos cooling off, Crosby sort of threatening to lap the scoring field this year.
It's unbelievable, and yes, it pains me too, and I know it pains people in Detroit to talk about Sidney Crosby, because even if you read the blogs, they take the C off his name and call him Rosby because they say he doesn't deserve the C. However, he is on what is right now an amazing streak, a 16-game point streak for him, 18 goals, 33 points, 24 goals, 48 points on the season, and yet his line mates are Chris Kunitz and Pascal Dupuis. Now, they're not all-stars by any stretch of the imagination. He's the first guy since Marcel Dion in 79-80 who's on pace for more than 132 points of a guy not named Gretzky or Lemieux. 68 goals, some 135 points he's on pace for. And really, of the Pittsburgh scorers, 3 of their top 6 are defensemen. So he's basically doing it by himself because Jordan Stahl's hurt, Evgeny Malkin's been hurt, he's out right now, which really makes what he is doing incredible. And here's the key, I think, John, don't forget, there's a whole documentary being built, a 4-part series around this outdoor game of the Capitals and the Penguins. And I think Sidney Crosby's saying, you know what, Alexander Ovechkin, this is going to be about me. This is my stage, I'm shining. All the credit to him, he's stealing the spotlight.
Great stuff, Kenny. Ken Daniels and Mickey Redmond upstairs. Larry Murphy between the benches, Wings and Predators upcoming. And if you want something on which to hang your hat, Crosby started growing one of those mustaches for Movember, the prostate cancer push last month. Because he's on such a roll, he can't shave it off, and it's a very, very weak mustache. All right, there you go. Timing is everything, says the Red Wings. They won't have to face the Predators' standout goalie, Pekka Rinne. He's out for as long as a month with a knee injury. But his fellow Sasquatch of a goalie, Anders Lindback, is a great story in his own right. With more on that story, Trevor Thompson joins us. T.
Keith, that's right. Anders Lindback stands 6 feet, 6 inches tall, and the Preds love the fact that he's a big goaltender, and they'd always thought they had a diamond in the rough ever since they started scouting him back in the Swedish League in 2007 when he was just 19 years old. At the time, they thought that he might have a 2nd or 3rd round pick, but he wound up going in the 7th round because he contracted a rare disease called Still's disease, adult Still's disease. It's a rare inflammatory disease that can lead to chronic arthritis and other complications, and there is no known cure for it. And to combat it, he must take a shot in his belly every day in order to lead a pain-free life. And Lindback admits that looking back, it was a scary time when he came down with the symptoms that led to the discovery of this rare condition.
I got really sick. I got a high fever and I got a pain in my joints and stuff like that. So I had to go to the hospital, but it took a while for them to figure it out because it's such a rare disease.
Yeah, how scary was it for you when they were trying to figure it out?
Oh, well, right at the moment I didn't really think of it, but I think my parents had a tough time going through that. But I mean, I'm just glad it turned out to be as good as it is right now, and just glad for that.
He's done a really good job. When he found he has sort of a little bit of a rare disease, you just deal with it and make sure that you stay on top of that. So there's nothing you can do. That's life. There's things that happen in life that you can't control, and that's one of them. But we'll stay on top of it, and he's been really good for us.
Now, Barry Trotz says that the Preds have no fear that this condition will limit Lindback in any way moving forward. In fact, because of his condition, the more exercise he gets, the better it is for him to combat any arthritic side effects. So as he told me, I guess I chose the right profession. He figures to get plenty of exercise against the Red Wings, who'll be firing pucks at him all night long here tonight, John. Back to you.
All right, we just got a shot at the not quite 6'6" Chris Osgood making a cameo appearance down there with Trevor Thompson, who rejoins us a little bit later. Trev, thanks. All right, we're just getting going. Still to come, the very candid Mike Modano on where his hockey life now goes from here. We'll talk with Red Wings goal-scoring leader Dan Cleary. How much difference can a year make? And later, just before game time, Thomas Holmstrom will join us on the ice and answer this question. Can you out-Dino Dino? But up next, it's the hockey game of a generation in our parts, and the big chill of the big house is racing toward us on Saturday. Among those fascinated to see the spectacle is our friend and sports junkie and film star, Jeff Daniels. He's a part of our production on Saturday. You'll hear from him next. You can't score until you shoot the puck, and you can't shoot the puck until you have the puck, and thus the beginning of every hockey play is vitally important. It's a war at the face-off dot, and as Mike Babcock has described it, it's the most direct and thus the easiest one-on-one battle two players will have. And most of the battle is mental. But get this, in their overtime loss in Atlanta on Monday, the Predators won just 29% of their face-offs. If it's possible, Barry Trotz's shoulders went up even higher, shrugging at the number of face-offs lost. The Wings are among the league leaders in face-offs won. It's a huge part of their game.
It's always easier to start with the puck than starting the shift chasing the puck. And I don't know if you look stat-wise, if you win most of the game when you win most of the face-offs, but it sure makes it a lot easier.
Obviously, we want to be a puck possession team, and we want the puck as much as we can. So face-offs are important, but every team is bearing down and knows it's important.
How many cheating lessons has Chris Draper given you?
He's given us a few, but being rookies, younger guys in the league, it's kind of tough to cheat with the refs. They don't really let you cheat too much, especially if you're going against an old veteran.
The Wings come in tonight as the 4th best in the West of the draw in the league. They're just a touch below 52% in success rates and 7th best. The Preds are under 50 and way down at 9th in the conference. Puck possession always starts at the dot. And that's true at whatever level of hockey you're playing. And the face-off dots, will be decidedly chillier at Michigan Stadium on Saturday afternoon. 112,000 people will gather as Michigan and Michigan State will play hockey in front of what's expected to be a world record for hockey attendance. Our coverage on Saturday will start with Michigan's biggest sports fan and spokesman, the actor Jeff Daniels, putting it all in perspective for you. He's been a hockey dad. He knows what this game means.
I think it's great. I think it's absolutely cool that they would, they'd host it at Spartan Stadium and then they turn around and do it, at the big house in Ann Arbor. It's just, it's an event. It's also, it's a way that this state can take pride in itself, to have Michigan and Michigan State and to create this kind of celebration of what we care about, the passion that we have for both schools and both teams. Even if you didn't go there, I didn't go to either school, but it's like this, our own little Super Bowl, if you will, and it's cool.
We have a full roster of coverage for the Big Chill at the Big House. It's a big group for the Big Chill. I'll be with Mickey Redmond ringside to host the game. It'll be called by Matt Shepard and Billy Jaffe and Fred Pledge between the benches. Shannon Hogan providing some fan flavor. The pregame show is 2:30, game time at 3 on Saturday afternoon here on Fox Sports Detroit. To a hockey player to whom the game was simply instinctual, just imagine having to think about how to grip the stick again if you're ever given that chance. The Wings are playing without Mike Modano, is facing months without his new team as well. We'll talk about that next. Hey, those nutty folks at Arby's have decided to let the fans decide what the hat trick payoff should be, in part because of a gang of blog guys who crank out a site called The Production Line. They started Operation Curly Fries on their blog site, which caused enough attention that it landed in the scorecard section of Sports Illustrated. And so, it's up to you, hockey denizens, Red Wingers, Arby eaters, what the instant three-play offer will be when a hat trick is scored by a Detroit player. Go to foxsportsdetroit.com to vote now for small curly fries or junior roast beef sandwich. Wings and Predators upcoming, and this stretch of the Red Wings season will be recalled as no Mo. Mo won't be on the ice for a while. Mike Modano, ever stylish, was back among his teammates this week wearing a stylish black cast. He's facing that unhockey future after an injury which makes working fingers actually cringe. Here's Justin White now with Mo on Mo.
Over the course of his 20-year career, Mike Modano has dealt with plenty of injuries, but he's never experienced anything like this. On November 26th in Columbus, Modano's right wrist was accidentally cut by a skate.
Well, I pulled it away real quick and didn't think much of it, but then, the pain started real sudden, and then I kind of opened my glove a little bit and saw the bleeding, and I was like, this ain't gonna be good.
The injury was bad. Modano suffered a severed tendon and nerve damage to his right wrist. In a matter of seconds, he went from playing a game to worrying about his health.
You just want your hand back at some point. He says, I'm not worried about hockey, I'm just worried about, life after hockey.
Modano scored on his first shot in Detroit, but then hit a slump. One of the cruelest aspects of the injury is that it happened right when he was starting to find his way with the Wings.
Just really starting to have a lot of fun and getting real comfortable with the guys and the situation and living here and feeling better and better every day. It seemed like it got better just the way we were playing.
For now, Modano's arm is confined to this contraption. Forget about taking wrist shots. He's just trying to get used to living life as a lefty.
Now that it's cold and, freezing out there, is getting a sweatshirt on and a nice big down coat, and not being able to put a glove on if I'm walking outside, so my hand, freezes on a walk.
There's no timetable for when Modano can start his rehab. And in a sense, that uncertainty is worse than the physical pain he's dealing with.
That's just part of it too, is preparing myself that it's going to be a long road, so sitting around just kind of mentally preparing myself for a lot of work to do.
Still, he's willing to do it. After all, Modano came home for a reason, and if the Wings keep playing like this, he could return just in time for a run at the Cup.
I think the easiest thing is just to kind of say I've had it and move on to whatever's next, I think, but I still feel, the opportunity is just too good to pass up. I think, to come back and have a great March, April, May, maybe June, I think that would be worth it.
Mo off for a while. The rest of the Wings were off on Tuesday, but that was not a day of rest for Danny Cleary, who spent it working out. He has not taken one day off, determined to get through a season healthy. He talks of his eye-popping start when we come back. He's gone 2 games without a goal, and that officially makes Danny Cleary now due. Nice expectations to have. He is tied for the goal-scoring lead on this team with Johan Franzen at 12. Last year at this time, he had just 4. He has more goals and points through 25 games of this season than in any previous season. And as you might expect, that's met with an aw shucks.
Feel healthy. That's the only difference. I feel good on the ice, which is a great feeling. So, no one likes to play when they've got a lot of different things going on. It affects everything really. So, I'm just knocking wood. I'm glad to be healthy.
When you were getting back in the summer and you were doing all of your off-season conditioning work, what was your level of excitement, I guess, to sort of get back at this with a body that was fixed?
Well, I think everybody was looking forward to getting back. We got a more extended period of time of rest, and a lot of different guys were banged up and had different things going on. So I think everybody was excited. For me personally, I was for sure excited to get going. I knew I did everything I could to get ready. So the season's gone okay so far.
Maybe he's your choice tonight. Vote for your Red Wings McDonald's Player of the Game, presented by the McCafe Caramel Mocha, using your cell phone. Text WINGS followed by his face, then the player's uniform number to 37338, or vote online at foxsportsdetroit.com. See final results at the end of the game and check your text response for special offers from McDonald's. In a moment, a chat with Thomas Holmstrom, and among the topics to be addressed, whether he's allowed to handle sharp objects, and is he better than Dino Ciccarelli? The unflappable homer is with us on the ice in just a moment. Hey, the 2 goalies tonight have the exact same save percentage, .916. We told you about Anders Lindback at the start of the show, and now Jimmy Howard is in the top protection spotlight presented by Degree from Ed. It won't let you down. Howie looking to shake off Monday. And who among us hasn't had to shake off a Monday, really? A night in which the Sharks scored 5 times against him. He made 30 saves. He was victimized by some deflections, about which he said after the game, some nights they hit you, and some nights they just don't. Red Wings are the only team in the West not to have lost 3 games in a row so far this season. Among those trying to prevent that from happening tonight is Thomas Holmstrom, coming off a goal and an assist against San Jose, and that earned for him a visit with Ken Daniels on the ice.
Thank you, John. Thomas, whether you're the first line or the fourth line, does it change your game at all?
That's going to be a matter of ice time, but our fourth line is pretty good line, so it's a good line to play in too.
Let's get your thoughts on this Nashville team tonight.
Yeah, it's a big goal. It's just traffic, and it seems like they're just getting bigger goalies. So, just pucks to the net and traffic.
Speaking of big goaltenders and being in front of the net, Dino Ciccarelli told me that he was better than you as a crease disturber. Rebuttal?
Yeah, he got the stats for it for sure. Over 600 goals, so I give him that. Yeah.
We'll give him that. Okay.
I'll do that.
All right. Thank you. Thomas Holmstrom, I guess rebuttal when you're in front of the netminder would be the proper term, John.
Well done, and it'll be the backside of Thomas Holmstrom in front of 6'6" Anders Lindback, but only if Lindback sort of bends over tonight. We'll watch that as Swede against Swede. It's Wings against the Predators tonight as the Wings find themselves back amidst their own kind, really. They are 5-0 against teams from the Central Division. You see their power play numbers there, and their penalty kill has been rock solid as well. But Thomas Holmstrom has given them a very nice bump, playing, at his advancing age, a 4-time Stanley Cup winner. Dino Ciccarelli would love to have the Stanley Cup hardware that Thomas Holmstrom has won. And so the Wings in a crucial stretch of their season without a whole lot of practice time at their disposal. And that's okay with guys like Thomas Holmstrom. 13 points in his last 20 games. He just wants to play the game. Big games like this one against the Nashville Predators. That'll do it for Red Wings Live. I'm John Keating. Stay right there. Ken and Mick and Murph and your game are all next.